And the Independent National Electoral Commission says network providers in the country have given assurances of a 100% coverage for electronic transmission of results. These assurances come amid concerns over the National Assembly's refusal to approve e-transmission in the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. The Nigerian Communications Commission claims that only 50% of polling units in Nigeria have network coverage for e-transmission of results. But INEC says the position of the NCC is not tenable. The electoral body wants the National Assembly to revisit the issue and approve the unconditional electronic transmission of results.
Well, let's bring in our Analyst, Abiodun Adeniyi, who joins us now to take a look at this development. Thank you so much for being here, Abiodun. And of course, this controversy and the conversations about 50% or 100%, it's still ongoing. And the question now is, the fact that this has not been assented to means that INEC still has a chance to actually probably use some backroom channels to lobby the lawmakers.
Lobbying, yeah.
Absolutely. Should they be looking in that direction? Because from what we're getting from the body, they are capable and they're willing to both have the e-voting system as well as transmission.
Yeah, well, I think it's quite commendable and quite relieving that INEC is coming to give us that assurance, because we know the place of instantaneous transmission of results in helping us to guarantee free, fair, credible and transparent election. But let's go back to the National Assembly and see what the houses are actually saying. The House of Rep is concerned about Section 52.2, and in their opinion on that, what they have said is that, you know, the word shall transmit electronically should not be used, but it should just be may. We still push the ball back into the court of INEC. In the case of the Senate is saying that yes, we're not opposed to electronic transmission, you know, but clearance should sort of be received from NCC to give that to them and come to them for clearance.
Usurping the powers of
but overall, I think there can still be a meeting point, probably at the conference when the two houses meet, you know, to decide to resolve the differences between them two, as the case could be. You know, so all hopes are not lost, and that's why I say it's very reassuring that INEC is saying that they can cover it on the back of their performances in Edo, Ondo, and some part of Imo State. Senatorial elections. That seems the way to go. But let's not forget that the pressure has to continue, because while we are dealing with the logic and the reason around this, we also have to be concerned about the politics of it. What played out in the National Assembly last time was the politics of it.
So the politics of it, without taking into consideration the feelings, the yearnings of Nigerians to make election processes almost seamless.
I think consideration
is that not a selfish and self-centered, you know, perspective of looking at not building democratic culture?
If you look at how the voting cut across the parties, you just know that it's politicking, you know, politics playing out. And it just reminds me of the kind of difference that we'll see most of the time between social justice and legal justice, between public opinion and the kind of justice that we'll see come out of the court. The court, I mean, the opinion may say this person is probably right, but when you get to the court, on some other grounds, you see a different thing, as if, you know, the reasoning judgment is coming from outer space. And that's why we also have to make difference between truth and justice. You know, so the politics of it is very, very important. We have won at the level of reason, at the level of logic, highlighting the importance of electronic instantaneous rendition of results into the central bank. We have a central database. We have won at that level. But of course, we shouldn't rest on our oars in terms of joining the politics of it and making sure a lot more legislators are on our side. You know, so I mean, it's a process. It is a democratic process that we have to see play out completely.
Divided along party lines. That, you know, it just shows us the politicking of the entire process. But another thing to really look at is really quite curious. The executive has been quiet in terms of what has been going on at the National Assembly, especially for President Buhari, who's been very outspoken. If you remember back in the 2003 elections, even 2011, he was really outspoken in the fact that we need to get our electoral processes right. But you know what? We'll wait until he assents to it. But as we wrap up today, Nigerians, are we ready for the electronic voting and transmission that we're clamoring for? We need to have these conversations.
But I think we're ready. You know,
Is the politicians in the National Assembly that are not ready?
No, I think we are ready. Because
are they ready?
You cannot. I'm not a politician. I'm not in the National Assembly. I cannot. But what I just know is that, you know, there cannot be a foolproof situation. There cannot be a perfect situation. It's just we're in a position where we should try. You know, because we are moving into a different world, a world of augmented reality, and of course, everything we do now is electronic, is virtually based. So there's no reason why electoral process should be different. And we have seen it happen around us, you know, in some other countries. So if it has happened in other parts of the world, and we have seen the extent to which it had gone in ensuring transparency and accountability, and that's what we need to strengthen our democracy, the electoral process, as a major festival of democracy.
Thanks so very much, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi, a RISE news analyst, for dissecting that situation for us.
Thank you very much.